elegant family, welcome to another episode of Winnie School of Elegance. Today's video is going to be about, first of all, this video is for the single people in the house. Now, love is in the air. There's so much love happening. Everyone is gearing up to either celebrate their love or give some love to someone this Valentine's Day season. Even though that I'm not a really big fan of Valentine's Day, because I believe that love is something that should be shared or shown every single day, whether to your partner or your spouse or to everyone in general. Love is a language that should be read, felt, shared, received, and given every single day of the year. But yeah, Valentine's Day has been separated as a day where people actually just focus on celebrating their love, and this is the reason why there's so much loviness happening in the air. And I know that some of my single people in the house may be feeling some kind of way. Some of you may be feeling not so good this period, especially if you are that person who is really looking to have a partner or be in a relationship, or who is looking for the love of your life. I thought that it was just best for me to come do this video and share with you some of my best advices that has helped me on my journey of being single, so that you can actually truly stay happily single. And I've titled this video Happily Single for a reason. So at the end of this video, I hope that you are able to take the advice that I share and embrace this single years of your life, or embrace your singlehood, because your single years should be some of the best years of your life if you know exactly how to take advantage of them and make good use of your time whilst you are still single. So this video is dedicated to the single people in the house. Say hey, if you're single, keep watching. If you're not single, you can watch and maybe just share the advice and share the love to the single people in your life, and maybe just watch and also reflect on things that you could probably have done differently if you were in your single years. I promise you that this video would help you a great deal. So let's get right into it, shall we? So like I said before, your single years should actually be some of the best years of your life for very obvious reasons. I want to reiterate this very strongly, that marriage is not for everyone. Being in a relationship is not for everyone, and not everyone is cut out for it. In fact, I've actually witnessed and seen people openly declare that they do not want to be married, they have no intention of being married whatsoever, and want to remain single for the rest of their lives. And I think that that's actually very okay. That's an okay decision to make as a person, because marriage or being in a relationship requires a lot of work, requires a lot of effort. Don't get me wrong, it's beautiful, it's amazing work that you have to do, but it requires a lot of commitment and it requires a lot of leveling up. And if you don't understand the commitment, the work, and the leveling up involved in being married or being in a relationship, then you might get it all wrong. And that's what's happening a lot in society these days, where you see a lot of marriages and relationships crumbling because the two people involved are not even sure of where or what it is that they're doing. So people like Apostle Paul in the Bible, people like Jesus Christ himself, you never heard that they were in a relationship because they were all about their purpose. So marriage is not for everyone. And I would say at this point again that your purpose on earth is the most important thing on the earth, not marriage. Everyone is sent to the earth for a particular purpose. Marriage is not the purpose. Marriage is not the game. It's just society and culture that has boxed everyone into thinking that marriage is the goal. Marriage is the ultimate. It's not the ultimate. And if you're not married, it's okay. Marriage is a beautiful thing, don't get me wrong, but if you're not married, it's okay. There are lots of successful people who have done life unmarried. People like Oprah Winfrey. I'd always look up to her a lot because she's somebody who never got married but was able and is still able to make a success out of their lives. So I just thought to say that marriage is certainly not for everyone. And the most important thing on earth, first of all, is your purpose on earth before anything else. So get yourself out of the box that society has put us in. Get yourself out of that cultural nonsense that marriage is a must. We need people, we all need people, but marriage is certainly not for everyone. And it's okay if you do not want to be married, okay? If after the first point that I've made, you still believe that marriage is a path that you want to toe, like I said before, and I'm going to say it again, your single years should be the very best years of your life. It should be the years where you are actually gearing up yourself for the marriage journey. Marriage is a whole journey that requires a lot of preparation. It's an institution on its own that requires you to actually prepare. It's like you saying you want to be a successful A student, and then you don't read your books, or you don't attend your classes, or you don't listen to your seminars or do your researches. You never would have an A. It's the same thing if you say you want to have a successful marriage. You need to understand the importance of having a successful marriage, the dynamics involved in having a successful marriage. And if you're not well prepared for that, I promise you, the wish that you have to have a successful marriage would only be a wish. It will never be a reality. So your single years is the time where you actually now sit down and analyze and just tell yourself, okay, I want to have a successful marriage. What do I need to do to accomplish and have that successful marriage? You can do that while you're married, but it's actually a lot better and easier when you're single for you to analyze and ask yourself what the things that you require to do to help you have a successful marriage. And again, I would also say at this point that marriage does not have a timeline. Marriage does not have an age. That is also something that culture and society has tried to box you in and say, if you're not married at this particular age, then there's something wrong with you. There is no age for marriage. I've seen people get married at 40 and still have a successful marriage. I'll tell you something that I heard that really struck something inside of me. A preacher, I think it was Priscilla Shearer, who said this, that if you are 20 years old and you have only 30 years to live on earth, you're pretty old. But if you're 50 years old and you have 100 years to live, you're pretty young. Age is nothing but a number, and it's just more about the moments that you have to live on the earth. So if you don't know how long you're going to live, why are you so stressed about how old you are right now? And I've seen people say, oh, I'm 30, I'm 31, I'm not married, I'm not in a relationship, nothing. They feel depressed, they feel sad. And I'm wondering why. You have a whole life in front of you, and all you're bothered and concerned about is that you're not married. And then when you even say these people, you're wondering, no one is going to marry you this miserable, because nobody wants to marry a miserable person. And the reason you can clearly see that the reason that they are not married is because they're actually very miserable and very negative. They haven't put in the work to get themselves ready for marriage. So your single years is the time where you know that you have the opportunity to work on yourself, to work on being a complete, whole, valuable individual. If you're not doing that yet, then you're doing something wrong. And this is why you have to take advantage of your time now as a single person to start getting yourself ready for marriage. Okay? My first big advice for today would be use your single years to understand the purpose of marriage. Now, the marriage institution, if you really go back down to way back where it originated, it actually, in my opinion, I think it originates from God. And you have to do marriage God's way, unless marriage is not going to be successful. There is a way that God has planned and designed that marriage should be. So your job right now is to find out and discover and understand the purpose and importance of marriage. Who designed it? What was his thought or idea when he was designing marriage? What was the vision he was seeing when he was designing marriage? It's like you're trying to, like you have an iPhone, and whoever manufactured this iPhone, of course, obviously has given you a manual that can help you navigate through the iPhone. But you as a person, you are trying to navigate your iPhone with your Android experience, thinking that your Android phone or your Samsung phone is the same way. It's the same thing you're going to use to operate your iPhone. No, there is a manual that has been designed and created for marriage by the one who created and invented and made marriage. Any other way is just a wishy-washy way. Sometimes your luck way might work. Most time it doesn't work. So why not go and figure out, okay, with this marriage institution, where did it originate from? What's the purpose of it? And what am I supposed to be doing in it? This is the time in your single years that you should be using to truly understand the importance and the purpose of marriage. If you're not doing that yet, then you're not ready for marriage. And that's the truth. My second advice here would be your single years is the time where you need to create a vision. You need to create the vision of the kind of marriage that you want to have. Yes, I always liken marriage to a business venture. If you would put so much energy into writing your vision statement for your business, your mission statement for your business and your goals, and then you put in energy into strategizing and planning, studying to be the best business leader, studying to be the best business whatever, why won't you do that for your marriage? You want to have a successful marriage and you don't have a vision? Your single years is the time where you sit down and you set a clear, crisp vision for marriage. What is your vision? What is this vision? And your vision can only come from a place when you have fully understood what the purpose of marriage is. You need to have a clear vision. That's where you set your clear standards of what the person you want to be married to should be. And you can only find out that if you understand the purpose of marriage and if you even understand yourself fully. So what kind of marriage do you want to have? You need to be exact. You need to pinpoint details. What kind of marriage do I want to have? Write it down on paper. Let it be so clear. What's the kind of marriage you want? I don't want to give specifics. What kind of marriage do you want? What kind of wife do you want? What kind of husband do you want? What kind of home do you want? Do you want a home that is full of joy, peace, laughter, love? What's the vision for your marriage? It's only when you have a clear vision for marriage that you know exactly what you ought to be doing to make your marriage work. And it will also help you quickly find a partner who is in line with that vision that you have set. It also helps you weed away the weed. It also helps you cut away the weeds, like the ones who you know, like when you meet people, you won't do trial and error. When you meet them, you talk to them, you know, this guy does not align with my vision. You don't even bother going into it because you know it's not aligned. So if you want a godly marriage, you don't want to meet a guy or a girl who is not a godly person. So you need to outline what the vision for your marriage would be. What do you want your marriage to look like? It's only you that can do that. And the best time to do it is when you are still single. The next point that I've written down here is find a couple that you truly admire who is living out the vision that you already have for marriage, and start looking up to them. If you have access to them, request that they mentor you in this regard, because they're already experiencing it and it will be best to get first-hand experience. Again, no two marriages are alike, no two relationships are alike, but there's certain things that you go through that's so common in every marriage that everyone goes through. And it's okay to know these things so that when it's your turn, you know how to navigate through each phase or through each level of things. So if you have someone who you already know is living life or doing marriage the way you want to do it, start looking up to them. They may be people you may not have access to. They may be just people that are on the internet. You can always look at them, and when they speak, listen to what they have to say. If you have access to them, request that they mentor you in that regard, so that at least you have a clear guide, a clear blueprint on exactly how to, like, after writing the theory, the reality part of it, you're living it out. Like you have someone who is guiding you through it. Okay, so take advantage of your single years and get the mentorship so that you will have a successful marriage. A successful marriage, guys, a successful marriage is intentional. It's intentional. It's not by luck. It's not by chance. It's not by taking every day as it comes. No. Successful marriages, successful relationships are intentional. Two people working intentionally to achieve a common vision, to achieve a common goal. It's intentional. It's not luck. It's like you say success in itself is not luck. Success is intentional steps that you take to accomplish your goal. Same thing with successful marriages. So find a mentor, okay? The next advice I'm going to give you as a single person would be start training yourself for your role. If you are a woman who is looking for a high-value man, who is looking for a man who is all that, who is set, who is done, who is handsome, who is rich, who is well put together and all of that, when you find that man, let me ask you this question. When you find that man, would the man like you and would the man want you if he meets you? If your answer is no or you're not sure, then it means you still have some work to do on yourself. And even if your answer is yes, you can still ask yourself, what ways can I improve and be a much better person? And I believe the reason you are on this channel is so that you can also level up. So start practicing and training yourself for your role. Start learning how to communicate correctly. Start learning interpersonal skills. Start learning people management. Start learning what's the place of emotional intelligence. This is where you start practicing. Your single years is the time where you have the opportunity to practice, to make the mistakes, to make the errors. This is the time where you train yourself. And the best way to train yourself, I've said it a lot of times, is through gaining knowledge, acquiring information. You can get a mentor, listen to podcasts, attend seminars. Again, I've said marriage, if you want to have a successful marriage, it requires you to take intentional steps. Intentional steps that will lead to your success. So don't just wait and be like, oh, I'm waiting for the right person. But are you the right person? Are you the right person? That's a question you need to ask yourself. You're waiting for Mr. Right. Yet, when somebody does something to you, small thing like this, you flare up, you're angry. You don't have emotional intelligence. You don't know when to be calm. You don't know when to be quiet. You don't know when to communicate. You don't even know how to take care of yourself. You've not even found your purpose. So why are you looking for somebody else to come and join yourself with when you don't even know yourself? Take advantage of your single years now and prepare yourself for your role. If you want to be a wife, if you want to be a husband, ask questions. What does it take to be a wife? What is my role as a wife? What is my role as a husband? What am I supposed to be doing? Don't just sit down there and wait for Mr. Right to come. When Mr. Right comes, will he see that you are Mrs. Right? If the answer is no, you have work to do. The next advice that I'm going to give you, my single people, would be, and even the married ones who are watching, understand the importance and the role of love in a marriage. I always say to people, love is more than enough. When people tell me love is not enough, I say love is more than enough. God's love is more than enough. God's kind of love is more than enough. And if you really want to understand what that love is, that love I'm talking about is not that sensation you feel in your heart. It's not the tingly sensation that you feel inside your heart that, oh, butterflies are flying. No, not that kind of love. This kind of love requires work. It requires commitment. If you really want to understand this kind of love, go and study 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Study it from the different translations of the Bible. When I say, I don't mean read. Study and meditate on it. I'm going to read a few of the verses so they can give you an understanding of what this love is and why it is more than enough to help you and your marriage or relationship thrive. Love is large and incredibly patient. I'm reading from the Passion translations, and this is verse 4 of 1 Corinthians 13. Love is large and incredibly patient. Are you patient? If you're not, you need to start learning to be patient now that you're single. Start learning the place of patience, because you will need it when you're married. You will need patience. Oh, a lot of it. Love is gentle and consistently kind to all. Love is gentle and consistently kind to all. It refuses to be jealous when blessing comes to someone else. Love does not brag about its own achievements. Love does not traffic in shame and disrespect, nor selfishly seeks its own honor. Love is not easily irritated or quick to take offense. It goes on and on. Just go and read the whole chapter. Read it from different translations and understand the place of love. And when you have read it, you ask yourself questions. Am I truly love? Am I really patient? Am I kind? Am I gentle? If you're not, you have a lot of work to do. You have a lot of work to do, and the best time to do it is now that you are single. Okay? Next advice I'm going to give my single people watching this channel is stop overly obsessing about being married and just go and live your life. Make yourself the priority. This is the time where you focus on yourself and focus on being a whole, complete, full individual. Marriage is sweet when two complete people come together. It only starts having a problem when incomplete people come together. People who don't understand life's dynamics, who don't understand their purpose, who don't know what they're supposed to be about. Your single years is the time where you need to focus on you and be about your life's purpose. This is where you need to hone your skill, develop yourself, start making money for yourself. You need to become independent. This is both as a guy and a girl. Whether you're a guy or a woman watching, you need to start learning to be independent, becoming happy for yourself, learning how to be full of joy for yourself. You really don't need anyone to accomplish these things for you. It's just you versus you right now. And this is the time you focus on being the best version of yourself. If you really cannot call yourself a high value person who is a complete whole individual, you have no business joining yourself to someone else at this time. You have a lot of work to do. I'm telling you, marriage is sweeter. Marriage is sweeter when you are complete and you're doing it with someone who is complete. And like I was telling someone this morning, when you're done, in fact, you never get done working on yourself, but you can get to a point where you're like, you know what, I'm ready for this journey. I'm ready for it. And when you've gotten to that point where you say you're ready and you're complete, you would easily attract someone who is like you. Because when you've worked on yourself and invested so much in yourself, you can't allow just anyone come into your space. You'll be mindful of who comes in. And how do you stay happily single? Like this video title suggests, you stay happily single by working and focusing on yourself and preparing yourself for the marriage journey ahead. Yes. Understand that you still have the place, you still have the opportunity to make things right. You still have the opportunity to ensure you have a successful, beautiful, glowy, happy, peaceful, godly relationship. It's still very possible. And this is the time you put in the work and lay the proper foundation for that to happen. For you to have a successful marriage, it takes two, and it starts with you. So you need to get to work now that you're still single. Learn to love yourself generously. No one can love you if you don't love yourself. And you need to learn to love yourself. Practice it. Practice it. You are the love of your own life. I'm telling you. And when anyone comes, it's just a cherry on the cake. You have the whole damn icing. But the whole cake. It's your heart. Don't give it away so easily and so cheaply without first working on it. The Bible says that guard your heart with all diligence. Out of it are the issues of life. Guard this thing you call your heart. Don't give it away. This is the time where you need to work on yourself, build yourself, put in the work, read the books, attend the seminars, watch the videos that inspire you to have a godly marriage. Look up to people who already have this godly marriages. Surround yourself with them. I promise you, when you take the steps and the right intentional steps, you would have a successful marriage. Above all, my advice would be always pray for God's guidance. If you believe in God, God is the source and originator of marriage, in my opinion. He's the one who has the clear blueprint of marriage. Pray to Him every day to help you, guide you in this quest for your right partner. Tell Him to guide you on how to be the best version of yourself. As a wife, as a husband, how to be that best version so that when you eventually meet this person, it's just the perfect alignment that will just work without stress. Until you find Him, stay happily single, my elegant people. Singleness, your single years is your whole years, where you have all the opportunities at your fingertip and at your beck and call. It's for you to make the most and the best out of your life. And I hope that you take my advice and stay happily single. One last advice before I go: never settle. Remember, I said have a clear vision of what you want your marriage to look like. Hold that vision. Never ever settle. I'll see you next time with another video. Until then, remember to stay happily single and very elegant. Bye guys.